Hi, it's Brian from Cruisin with the Colemans. We've got an RV do-it-yourself project here today. So our tongue jack stopped working. The lift on it, the motor just completely gave out and no longer works. So it's time to replace one. Doesn't look like it's going to be too complicated of a project. So hopefully we can get it done here without any extra assistance other than the two of us doing it. We purchased the RV in 2017. This is the original jack. So 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. It's made it through about 5 seasons worth of camping. And if you follow us, you know we camp a lot, so it gets a lot of use. Bought the new one on Amazon. We'll put the link down below. We did upgrade it slightly to one that has a little bit more weight, a little higher weight limit. So we got to unpack this thing. First thing it comes with is a manual jack, which is great because our original one did not come with the manual jack. Got some bolts here.
What'd you use since it didn't come with the manual jack?
Well, I used a ratchet and I did it by hand, which was really a challenge. And then it comes with the jack itself. So it's got the new foot plate. There's a cotter pin in here for that. And by the way, the other thing we're going to do while we're doing this is we're going to turn the motor assembly 90 degrees so that it's easier to open the bed when it's hitched up to the truck. All right, let's get the old one off and get this baby started. First things first, we've got the jack lifted up, no weight on the jack, obviously. We've got it hitched to the truck just for to get weight off the front. I also put down our stabilizer jacks. Our stabilizer jacks are upgraded jacks that will hold the weight of our RV. Otherwise, you would need to make sure that you've got it jacked up somehow so that you're not putting weight on the front end of the RV. Obviously, you want to be safe there. Right, I've got a 1/2-inch socket. First thing is to take these bolts off to remove the old Next step is to remove the foot off of the tongue jack. So there's a cotter pin down here. So I'm just going to take that pin off, take this pin out, and the foot comes off. And now I can just lift this up and out. I've got a little extra give. And we're going to set it down here. And I have to trace this wire back to disconnect it. Taken the tongue jack off, I've traced the line back to see where it powers into because I couldn't remember, and it actually connects directly to the battery. Now, next thing I need to do before I start dealing with any electricity, obviously, is disconnecting the battery power. So I don't do this very often because we have a battery disconnect, and I always forget which order to go in. So we put a little tag on here: attach red, then black; remove black, then red. Just, you know, to make it dummy proof, because sometimes I can't think of that. So I needed a number 13 to remove this. Now on here I need an 11/16 to remove this from my battery disconnect. And there's a little washer on there. And that is now disconnected from the battery. The old one is now trash. All right, I've set the jack into place, finger tighten the bolts. Now I just need to screw them down. Put the foot back, the new foot on. Now this came with a new foot. However, we have a snap pad on our old foot and we want to not replace the snap pad. So I'm just going to put the old foot back onto the new jack. So that just slides in there. Cotter pin back in. And that's ready, good to go. Now the next thing we told you we were going to do is turn this 90 degrees so that when we lower the tailgate there is clearance room. That's not something you do here, that's something you do up here. So before I attach the power, we're going to do that. That's our next project. To turn the head 90 degrees, first thing I have to do is remove it. So these caps are on there. I take 2 of them off, 1 on each side. This is a number 13 nut. And I'm just going to take these bolts out. Now I can can remove this. Not having the electricity on this attached makes this a whole lot easier because I can just set this aside. Lippert has changed the design on the post. So as I took the head off, you can see there are the two holes right here where the screws came out, the bolts came out. On their old design, they also had holes on the front and the back, just like this, except these were not threaded. So all you do is you thread these two holes, and then you can rotate the whole thing 90 degrees. No holes there now. And getting that in the exact right position on your own is going to be next to impossible. So on this new design, you're not going to be able to do this yourself. At least I'm not going to be able to. You might be able to, but I can't. So here's what we've decided to do. On our old post, the post is not the problem. Our post is fine. It's our motor that's bad. So what we're going to do is we're going to spray paint this to clean it up with a fresh coat of paint. And I'm going to do the new holes here. So here's what I was saying. These are the two side holes that were there that were threaded. These holes on the front and the back are not threaded, but I need to thread them. So with a 5/16 threader, I would have done this with it standing upright. Now I'm just going to do it on the ground. I stuck some paper towel in here to keep the metal shavings from getting down into the mechanism. You don't want that. You're going to take this threader, put it right in the hole, and just start twisting. Try to keep it as straight and lined up as possible. It's a little hard to get started, but once you get it started, it screws quite easily. Just taking it all the way in until I tap that center post. Take it back out. Brush off the metal shavings, pull out my paper towel carefully to get all those little metal shavings out. This is the bolts that were in the side. Now we'll just screw right into the front. And that's how it'll go back together. So time to get the spray paint out and clean this old one up. So I took the new post off, cleaned up the old post and put it back on. So the first thing I went to do with the old post is remove the labels using Goof Off, link below in the description. And let me tell you, this stuff is awesome. It just cleaned up all of the grime and everything off of there, and we did not re-spray paint it. You can see it just really cleaned it up, looks shiny and brand new. So I'm going to take some of that when we're all done and kind of clean up the rest of this area around the hitch so it looks a little bit better. Now we are ready to put the new motor on. And by the way, this new motor weighs less than the old motor, that I feel like. Now, it would originally go on like this, but what we're gonna do is turn it 90 degrees like this. Now, you have to make a decision here. Where are you typically standing when you're doing all of this hooking up? I usually stand on the driver's side when I'm doing all my hookup, so I want it facing my driver's side. But if you feel like you're typically standing over on the passenger side, you probably want it facing the other way. The most difficult thing about getting this back on is getting it exactly lined up so that you can get this directly into the hole.
That's what she said. That's what she said.
So, what I did was I put it on straight to get it down onto the bolt on, and then rotated it with a screwdriver in the hole so that when it got to the right spot, it kind of fell in, and that was how I could tell that it was lined up just right. I already did the back one. Had to take the propane cover off to do that. Now I get the front one started. Get it in just a little past tight. All right, snap the cover back on, and you can see how it's lined up. It's just a little bit past 90 degrees based on where the existing holes were on our post. All right, now it's time to get this hooked back up to the battery and test the whole thing out and see if it works. The old wiring had a terminal post on it. This one comes like this, so I'm going to put a terminal post on it.
Part not included.
Had to buy this part. Down. That crimped on, should be good and tight. Now, Michelle, if you can get down in here,
Sure.
We're going to reconnect it to my post. Put the washer on. Put the bolt on. Get it all on here finger tight. All right, that is tight. Now reconnect my battery back together. Remember, attach red first. Okay. Got this on finger tight.
You don't take these off, is that why?
I never take these off, so I'm gonna tighten them down pretty strong. Put that alligator clip back on for the tire pressure. Now I can bring my battery cover back in. Get all my wiring coming out in the correct spots.
And before we zip tie, we test it. Confident man putting the strap back on.
There we go. Turn the battery on. Okay, no sparks. Everything should be connected now. I have lights.
That's why we put the labels on.
And I am extending.
That's what you said. Sorry, but a girl's got to do what a girl's got to do.
This new one's quieter than the old one too.
It is.
All right, that's the entire project. The only thing left to do is to get underneath and to use some cable ties to tidy up all the wiring so that nothing's hanging down. Overall, this was a pretty easy project, despite the fact that we had to redo the post because of the new one not working for turning. The whole thing took about an hour and a half, I'd say, to get done. It's a piece of cake. One thing that we did on our old one is that these will wear away eventually. So we took a label maker and put a little retract and extend labels on those just to keep track. Or you could even say up and down if you kind of get confused with that. We use one of those covers that keeps it all protected and waterproof, and also has a place to hang the chains. So now that it's turned 90 degrees, it'll be interesting to see how that works. But it should still work out okay. So if you like this video, make sure you click the like button down below. If you're not already one of our subscribers, please hit that subscribe and notification button. If you've got any questions, leave a comment down below and we'll answer them. And make sure you check out all of our other RV helpful tips and hack video list, which is also linked down in the description. See you on the next video.